Hey guys, and welcome back to our usual chat that we have every single weekend about the market trends over the past week. One of the coaches at Unga Academy here. And before we begin, as I'm sure you know by now, I invite you, as always, to please leave us a like to this video. Go and subscribe to our channel. Click on the notification bell to stay updated on the release of all our new videos. And thank you. Hi, we are the Unga Academy, and we teach traders how to make money in the markets. Our founder, Andrea Unga, had been struggling with trading for years until he developed his automated trading method, which he used to become the only 4-time world trading champion. Subscribe to our channel for free tips and tricks. So guys, let's start as usual with the stock indexes, which have had a pretty turbulent week, especially yesterday on Thursday, because as you probably know, the inflation data was released and it actually was a bit worse than expected. So the markets initially had a solid downward swing, but then managed to recover and close in positive territory. Broadly positive, I'd say. Today seems to be an interlocutory day, where the market continues on the uptrend, but certainly with less conviction. Returns with the Nasdaq are currently just above zero over a 5-day period. We see a positive 1.3% for the mini S&P 500. We see a slightly better performance of the European stock indexes, the Euro Stoxx and DAX. In bonds, we see that the T-bond is showing a negative trend again this week. It went down by 0.8%, so it's not overly negative, but still quite weak. Of course, we know that inflation data also has a negative impact on the bonds. So this data that was released on Thursday, shall we say, somehow worsened the performance of this market, as it did with the stock market as well. Right now, though, the declines are contained, and they're at negative 0.82% for the T-bond, negative 0.32% for the 10-year US bond. On the other hand, positive, albeit only slightly, is the Bund. Okay, onto the energy markets. On the other hand, we have negative 6% decline in crude oil. Gasoline and natural gas also negative, negative 3.6 and negative 3.27 respectively. Heating oil is instead slightly positive. Metals market, we see that the silver is going down again this week, losing almost 9%. It had risen very sharply last week and now unfortunately giving back almost all of its gains. Not much else to report on metals, negative 3% in gold. As for the meat sector this week, we see a nice rise of the lean hogs, positive 5.96% at this time. Turning to another market, the soft commodities market, definitely a decline to report in coffee. We all know that coffee is a highly volatile commodity. And this week, this market is down negative 7%. And I'd say that the other returns are all very close to zero in this sector. So, yeah, not much to report there. Onto grains, we have a positive 4% increase in soybean meal. You can see it in the chart here. And also a positive 2.8% in soybeans. So an upward swing for soy derivatives this week, definitely. As for currencies, not much to report here either. We have euro dollar, that's more or less at the same levels as last week. Right now we're talking about what? 0.9791. There is a sharp decline in the Japanese yen against the dollar, which has broken all the lows. So, yeah, you can say that in general, the US dollar is going strong against other currencies, except for the British pound, which is recovering against the US dollar this week. Okay, let's turn to the cryptocurrencies. Let's go over take a look at Bitcoin, which is also more or less at the same levels as last week. As you can see, Bitcoin, which has recently shown a strong correlation with the performance of the stock markets, it's initially showed us a wave of declines with the release of the inflation data and then closed in positive territory. Today, this market is still slightly positive, although it certainly remains an extremely weak market. All right, let's talk about the volatility of the equity asset class now. And yeah, I'd say it's medium to high at the moment. If we take a look at the volatility term structure, we can see a sort of a hybrid structure because we're neither in contango nor in backwardation. We are, let's say, horizontal. That is, all the expirations of the volatility indexes on the SPX show more or less the same values. So a situation of indecision in the markets. If we look at the VIX index prices, we see that they are still in the upper part of the range, so there is some caution in the markets. Okay, finally, let's take a look at the rollover schedule. Little work is scheduled for next week. October 17th, it's advisable to roll over the crude oil futures. And that's about it. Guys, I'd like to leave you with some advice. If you're interested in systematic trading, I suggest that you go and click on the link in the description of this video. Through this link, you can go and watch a free presentation by Andrea Unger, where he'll introduce you to his trading method, with which he managed to win the World Cup Trading Championships in real money trading 4 times. You can also get the bestseller, The Unger Method, covering only the shipping costs, or you can even book a free strategy consultation with one of our tutors. So, yeah, thank you so much for listening and watching. That's all for today. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, click on the notification bell, and leave us a like if you enjoyed the video. And as always, we will see you again next week. Until then, have a great weekend, have a great week. Bye-bye for now.